This is your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Monday, February 9th. Republican Representative Jim Bridenstine from Oklahoma is one of the sponsors of a bill that would require SNAP recipients to show photo ID when using their benefits. Bridenstine stated, "I think it's perfectly appropriate when taxpayers are losing almost $1 billion a year to fraud in the SNAP program, which is the food stamp program. I think it's perfectly appropriate to require a low hurdle like an ID. The argument opposed to the bill will likely be the same as the one used to oppose voter ID laws, implying that minorities are incapable of acquiring ID that is often required to be placed on programs like SNAP in the first place." Bridenstine further explained, "Usually, to qualify for food stamps, you have to go through a qualification process. Whether it's in person or over the phone, you have to identify yourself in some capacity. The challenge is, after you get the food stamps, you no longer have to be identified when you use them." According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics published by 538, the number of women earning more than their husbands rose to 38.1% in 2012 from 23.7% in 1987. If one includes women in dual-income households, 29% of wives earn more than their husbands. According to a paper published by the University of Chicago Booth School of Business in 2013, quote, "When the wife was the higher earner, the chances that the couple would report being in a happy marriage fell by 6 percentage points. Couples in which the wife earned more were also 6 percentage points more likely to have discussed separating in the past year." A Cornell University doctoral student found in a separate study, men who are entirely dependent on their girlfriends or wives are 5 times more likely to cheat than men who earn the same amount as their partners. MSNBC host Melissa Harris Perry is getting some interesting attention in journalistic circles. Previously, she had been involved in incidents about questionable racial conversations on air and choosing to attach tampons to her ears as earrings. Her latest on-air foible involves referring to outgoing Attorney General Eric Holder as a duck. Harris Perry stated to Holder, "You know, we call you the duck in Nerdland. We say you have a very sort of placid and even way of presenting, but you are just working for justice underneath. Would you quack for us?" Holder politely declined her odd request, saying, "Oh, I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I like the analogy." I'm Liz Harrison, and this has been your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Monday, February 9th.
VLR.
This show is produced by IJReview.com.
This show is copyright by VLR Media. All opinions of panelists and guests are their own and may not reflect the opinion of VLR Media, the host, or anyone else.
Let's be clear. Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. There are no winners here. Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. There are no winners here.
Two minds are better than one. Time for the Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum.
Happy Monday, folks. And yes, this is the Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum, although the latter is running late. He's in an appointment. Hopefully we'll be here before the bottom of the first hour. So I shall do my very best. You want to weigh in today? 412-567-6879. You can also tweet us. Twitter account is at the right mics at the right mics. You're listening or can listen live the podcast. One of the places is therightmics.us. That's our website. You can also listen to The Right Mics on Spreaker or also live on Digital Liberty Radio US. Okay, big story today. Breaking news. Obviously, it's Jessica's 30th birthday.
Oh, you went there.
I went there. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So it's a big 3-0, huh?
Yeah, it is. I'm not as freaked out as I thought I would be a few days ago.
So you woke up and you basically felt the same way. You didn't feel older and you could still walk and stuff.
Yep, that was what was going on.
Well, again, happy. And you're going out to dinner tonight at Morton's. Have not been there. Great steakhouse.
Fancy dinner. I'm very happy about it.
Well, good for you. The other breaking news of the day, and we talked about this at length the end of last week, is the Brian Williams story. You've been paying much attention to this?
Oh, I didn't, not over the weekend, but yeah, I definitely saw a lot of the memes and all the craziness going on there.
We talked about this. I mean, the memes are hilarious. I put up half a dozen of them. But
Yeah.
All right, so prepare to be educated because we talked about this, and I suggested when did we first hit this? Thursday or Friday? But anyway, that this thing was far from over, and NBC got to do something. But let's back up the bus, right? So we had, first of all, it was just the lying about the RPG fire. Then we had small arms fire. Both of those been discredited. And then we had him staring down the barrel of an RPG, fire somewhere. Then we had the Katrina story and the floating dead bodies, and being held at gunpoint. It's all lies. There's a pattern of lies with this guy that goes back forever, right? So finally on Friday, NBC comes out and announces the proverbial internal investigation, and it's just become an embarrassment to both Williams and the network. So now, as of yesterday, and maybe you didn't see this part, but Williams has supposedly, and I'm doing air quotes, taken himself off the air for a few days because he doesn't want to be part of the news. Did you see that part?
I did not see that. I'm sure that was totally his decision.
Oh, I'm sure. He went to them. He had to argue with them. No, really. I need to take myself off there. No, Brian, we need you, dude. I mean, no, I've become a distraction, and I think for the good of the network and humanity, I need to take myself off the air for a few days. And then, of course, after they stopped sobbing, they said, well, okay, we'll see if we can struggle by. So anyway, that's where we are now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Lester Holt, others going to fill in for Brian. Lion Brian, isn't that what we call him? Lion Brian.
Lion Brian.
Lion Brian. So I've been thinking a lot about this. That's why I talked about it so much last week. Because I thought at the time it has more gravitas than we know. Mm-hmm. And thinking about it on three different levels. I mean, as it relates to Williams, okay, I think in the long run, he's probably going to be gone. But also in the long run, he's the smallest part of this whole deal. But I mean, just focusing on him. Mm-hmm. He's lied for 10 years. And this guy, you know those, it's a meme as well, and they're usually funny. Like, you had one job. Have you seen those? And then somebody spelled something wrong on a sign.
You had one job, yeah.
Yeah, you had one job. He had one job. His job was to report the facts honestly, truthfully, and faithfully, right? He's a newsreader, sits in front of a camera. Maybe he does a little bit of investigative journalism, but nothing near like you used to see back in the days from, Huntley Brinkley and the like. This guy had one job, just to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking about this in terms of, character and the whole bit. And, we get after these guys, don't we? I mean, on a regular basis, the left, the liberal media, because we disagree with them politically, and they disagree with us politically. But this is a bigger deal to me, lying. Because you can disagree as honest folk. Even if you scream at each other and you act stupid on either side, excuse me, you can disagree. That is not that's not a character issue. That's not a moral issue. Okay, setting aside the fact that some on the far left believe in killing babies and other stuff, to me that's a moral question, but that's not an argument for today. But it's not a character moral issue to disagree politically with someone. Lying continually and pretending to be something you're not as a newscaster, or as anyone, but as a newscaster, that is a serious character issue, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's amazing. And it's like, it's 10 years is what they can verify he lied about. You know, it's
And there's more stuff out there. There has to be, because this is the way this guy is built. For some reason, whether it's part of the character flaw, where the insecurity, whether he knows he's the real investigative journalist of the past who became anchors, he's an empty suit compared to those guys. He knows that. Maybe there's an insecurity issue. There's something there that's caused this guy to lie continually for 10 years. So, I mean, the bottom line with him, I mean, and again, I don't give a damn about his politics here, is that he has to go. The guy has no more credibility, right?
That's
So
it.
here-
No, you can't trust anything now that he
No,
ever
you
says.
can't trust anything he says. And picture this: the old Batman, Riddler. Riddle me this. Let's pretend he hangs around. Hillary is a candidate. There's a debate, and he's a moderator. And that this question of Hillary lying about sniper fire, right? Lying about it, she got caught. This has to come up. It will come up. And then let's further pretend that Brian Williams is the one that's tagged to bring it up. So just imagine the hilarity of that. That would be like a Saturday Night Live skit. You have Brian Williams questioning Hillary Clinton about lying and asking if this is not something, of a character issue or whatever have you that should disqualify her. I mean, you can't make that up.
He's like, oh yeah, I can just see pop me kettle jokes abound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he has no credibility ever to question anyone about anything, let alone to be believed. So in my
Yeah.
humble opinion,
Unless he goes to do like E! News, and even then, I think he's done.
well, and that might very well be the case, right? But I'm saying as a news anchor, the guy has to be done.
He does, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Unless he which I think his pride won't let him, to go from being supposedly hard-hitting news anchor to going and working on the E! Channel and talking about the latest fashion. Doubt that's going to happen.
Exactly. No, exactly. He'd write a book or,
Yeah.
do something. But I think he has to be done. Now, that comes down to NBC, right? And that's the next level. Like I said, multiple levels here. NBC been under fire, as have the network media, for years, right? NBC proper been under fire for bias. But then we have MSNBC, the ugly stepson, sister, whatever. MSNBC, 12 people listen a night. You got Tingles, you've got Al Sharpton, you got Nutjob Ed Schultz, Melissa Harris Perry. I mean, it's a cartoon. It admits it. It says we make no bones about trying to be fair journalists. We are cheerleaders, water carriers, sock puppets for Barack Obama. I mean, they admit it. I put it in a little more colorful language, but they admit it. Yet what happens? NBC hangs on to them, right? So NBC been under fire on a couple of different levels for its credibility or lack thereof. So this is I don't know if it's a crossroads. There's a major decision here for NBC because it really boils down to two decisions. Mm-hmm. You hang on to him. He's your $10 million guy. He's number one in network news. You ride out the firestorm. You have him come on and do this groveling, tearful apology that makes his pretend apology last week look like funny. So you hang on to him because he's your number one guy. You hope that he rides out the firestorm, or you fire. So let's assume they do A. Now where's their credibility? I mean, it sucked before, but
Yeah.
where is it now?
Yeah, I don't see that working out for them to do it that way. The only way that I can